What is going on, guys? We are back. It is Mackie. It is Bradley. That's me. He's Mackie, obviously. I can't figure out what I'm trying to say. But it's going to be a good time because we're back. It's the All Access podcast talking about sports in the Queen City, Charlotte, the Carolinas, all over the place. Mackie, you weren't here on Sunday. How have you been?
Dude, one, shout out to Trip for holding it down on Sunday while I was gone.
Crushed it.
Two, I was up in the mountains. I went camping for the very first time, dude. The very first time. It was good.
Oh, wow.
A little chilly. The low in Boone at that time. We weren't in Boone. We were like around Limbo Court somewhere, like 30, 45 minutes. I was up in. But it was a little 27 out there, and it got a little detoured. We were going to one place, and it turns out the campgrounds were closed. And that begs the question, bro, how can the earth be closed? That's a conversation for another day. And so we're like, all right, where are we going to go? So we were at Linville Falls. So we go up to this map, and immediately my friend Rico points to Wiseman's View. He's like, that's exactly where we're going.
Yeah.
And so what this place is just a long road that's like 2-3 miles just up the mountain. And we're driving up, and they have little places on left and right sides where you can pull your car in, and then they have a little camp area about 10, 20 yards back behind it.
Sure. And
we were looking for this one specific one. We were wondering where this campsite that Nick, Rico, and another friend went to camp at all the way back sophomore year. So they are going all full memory from 3 or 4 years ago. And after a little 2.5 hour detour because the parkway was closed, so we had to add an extra 50 minutes onto our route to get to Linville. We finally found the exact spot they camped at 3 to 4 years ago, and it was well worth the drive. We got set up immediately, got a campfire going, and I had a great time in the woods last weekend with 3 of my best friends from college.
That's awesome.
Unfortunately, I don't really see that often anymore because we're all spread out across the state, and we're just doing our own thing.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. You kind of go, you keep in touch. It's much easier nowadays with social media, like Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. You can talk to whoever, you can hit them up, but it's not the same as when you're in college. You just walk over and kick their door and be like, hey,
yes,
what are we doing right now?
What are we doing right now?
Yeah.
The dorm life is I hated it, but I loved it at the same time. Dorm life is a fever dream, bro. What is even living in a college dorm as a 18, 19, 20, however old you are? What a time to be alive, to just be, y'all got sick together, y'all ate together, y'all did everything. You're just knocking on the door at 2 a.m. Hey, I got hungry. Howie, you want to play Madden? That's pretty much what at least once a week. That was a conversation I had with somebody post 1:30 a.m.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it. I miss it.
Yeah, it was, like you said, it had its perks. It definitely kind of sucked sometimes, but it was nice. Miss those friends. I'm glad you got to see your friends. Hopefully you're feeling refreshed. Hopefully everything's feeling good. You missed a lot of things while you were gone, so we'll get into that in a little bit. But Mackie, Easter's right around the corner. So I have a question.
Ooh.
Reese's, I guess, Reese's eggs. Are you for them or against them over the regular Reese's peanut butter cup?
Reese's peanut butter cup. Honestly, dude. I'm one of those guys that a lot of people probably hate because I it's like caramel and caramel. I just interchange. I don't know how to say Reese's.
Yeah,
Reese's is a Reese's.
Oh, I've always been a Reese's Pieces.
Bro, they shouldn't care how I say it because I'm gonna buy their stuff. So I say it how I want. I give you my money. We're both happy.
Yeah.
But honestly, and the only reason I'm gonna say this is because I literally had a whole Speedway bag of Reese's cups.
Yeah.
The regular peanut butter cups last weekend, and I mean they're just so simple yet so elegant. It's just it's hard to top. And also they're around year round. They're here for me when I need them.
Yeah.
Why do I need to wait for a very specific weekend for a very specific treat?
Listen, it's something about the mix, man. It's the ratio of a Reese's egg is so perfect. It is flawless by design. It is hands down the greatest. You can keep your Christmas tree eggs, your jack-o'-lantern eggs. They're not the same.
True.
The Reese's peanut butter egg is the best.
And I'm going to answer my own question because I said, why do I have to wait for a specific weekend to get a specific treat? Yeah. The second half of that question was the answer because it's very specific. But that's my issue with it. Why do I need to wait for a specific year to get something that I like? That's what I should have said. If I was really for the Reese's egg the way you are,
I'm for it.
I would be furious.
Oh, I
that
am.
I have to wait for a weekend, like one weekend, the whole year to get this one treat.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I love it, but it's just like, it's like the McRib.
I was gonna say
That's
it's just like the McRib, man.
And that, yeah, the only reason people like the McRib is because they take it from us when we want it most. I still have never had one. I feel like I'll deteriorate the moment that like I eat it. But
I'm probably in the minority when I say it, but I'm not a fan of the McRib. It's something about those fake bones that they've put in the McRib, like they've molded it. It's something about that just kind of bugs me.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Oh,
it
doesn't
thing I know
look
about the McRib is that it's called the McRib and it's barely here. So
it's here for like 3 days. Here today, gone today, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yes.
It's bad. All right, well, we are going to get into some sports talk. Again, this is the All Access Sports Podcast. From the Queen City to Columbia to Myrtle Beach. What else is up there? From Colowee, wherever you are in the Carolinas, we are talking about sports in your backyard. So, Mackie, you missed some big news, and we're going to be kicking it off. I'm taking over with first things first. LaMelo Ball's injury was a massive blow to this Charlotte Hornets team. It probably affected what they were going to be doing at the trade deadline. It has a big implication. Since he went down, they have won 2 in a row, which I know you're a big fan of them.
LaMelo Ball overrated?
Overrated? Dude, you heard it here first. LaMelo Ball is absolutely. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. I can't even finish that sentence.
Sarcasm.
Absolutely sarcasm. But yeah, LaMelo Ball goes down. Luckily, the Charlotte Hornets do have a guy in Devontae Graham who's been a playmaker for a while. Malik Monk is there as kind of a spark plug kind of guy. So before we get just specifically into the injury, but do you think LaMelo Ball going down affected them making a decision at the trade deadline to go out and get someone like Miles Turner or Andre Drummond, who I guess agreed to a buyout with the Cleveland Cavaliers? So how big of a role do you think that is, that the Hornets are like, not our year, Melo went down?
I think it kind of made them more cautious because now you're taking LaMelo Ball out of this season. And this season, I mean, the Hornets are alone in the 4th seed in the East. And check your freaking calendars. It's March 25th. Huh?
You've never been excited about sports in the Carolinas at this time. In a long time.
No. It's truly
what?
And I don't want to overstate this, but being 4th in the East.
Yeah.
On March 25th, like this late into the season, if I do have children, I don't think the day my firstborn comes into this world is going to top the day that the Hornets are 4th in the East on March 25th.
This is the greatest day of your life.
I love the Charlotte Hornets. And no, I'm not calling him Mackie Jr. That's a joke. Please do not hold that against
Mackie G. Jr.
But no, so going back to the question, I've gone off track again.
Okay.
To go back to the question, LaMelo Ball, this season the Hornets were making a push. They are still well within playoff reach, as I have just said. The Hornets still have a bunch of players that have been doing fairly well, other than LaMelo Ball. And my thing is, and I saw Bring Back the Buzz tweet this a while back, and they were tweeting it all day today. This season, the Hornets doing nothing, although I wanted them to be active at the trade deadline. Mm-hmm. This season, them doing nothing is sometimes probably the best thing, because the Hornets we got to remember, the Hornets are still rebuilding.
Yeah.
This is their first full year, second year into the rebuild, and they're sitting 4th in the East on March 25th. The Hornets are so far ahead of schedule right now, in my opinion, for where this team should be. Unfortunately, we may see a couple people on this roster not on this roster anymore when it comes to redo their contract, or when it comes to trying to go after other players. That's going to make me sad, because I really do enjoy watching a majority of the players whenever they're in the game for the Charlotte Hornets. But there's no reason to stretch going after somebody and possibly being put in a hole again, something that the Hornets are so familiar with, especially ever since they came back to Charlotte, to where we go out and reach for somebody in a season to where it's not even a definite run. We are making a run, but we're doing that just as a rebuilding team. So if we're doing that as a rebuilding team, let's kind of relax the way we are. If we don't see something, if we don't see something that that appeals to us right away, or that we see it being an immediate impact. Like Vucevic, he went to the Chicago Bulls, a big move for the Bulls. The
Made
Bulls
a lot of moves.
got very better. They
got
got very,
a lot better.
or they got much better, not very better.
They got very
much better
better.
at the trade deadline. And the Vucevic is one of like the few big men to where I would have been fine if the Hornets trade away a player or two and like a first round draft pick. But I mean, there's not many Vucevic's out there, and that's one of the big needs for the Hornets is a big man.
Yeah.
And so I mean, LaMelo Ball, it could have possibly impacted the way the Hornets were playing the trade deadline. But honestly, I think the Hornets may just be happy where they're at. They don't see anything that's that warrants a trade package or kind of or any kind of a risk or gamble. This season is turning out fairly well through all the ups and downs that this team has gone through this season. And Nick in the YouTube chat said, "What place are the Hornets in?" Things have gone up and down, but they're in fourth place.
Fourth place, buddy.
It's like Will Ferrell in semi-pro, like fourth place, let's go. I'm so hyped. But yeah, no, I mean, like LaMelo going out now, the injury alone. I mean, I didn't watch that game, but I saw the clip of him falling. It just it sucks because it's so easy it's so easy for that to happen. You're falling, you want to catch yourself, and you just land on your wrist, or your wrist hits the floor awkwardly. And as human beings, especially as professional athletes, the wrist is a pretty important part of what you're doing in everyday life or at the sport that you're a professional athlete at. So it sucks because that's pretty much what like a season-ending injury. I believe they said he's expected to miss most of the season.
Yeah, they're expecting him to miss most of the season. There is a chance that he'll come back late in the season. However, I think you need to play the cautious route. Just shut him down. You had surgery. It's going to take weeks to get back. People were criticizing his shot. I'm sure he tweaked it after coming into the draft. He changed up his shot a little bit. I'm sure that's going to have to take some time to revamp and get used to and build up muscle memory once again, because like you said, that wrist, you're using it every 2.5 seconds on a basketball court, especially at the guard position. It's going to take a lot of time for him to get back into the flow of games. One thing that you had said is you don't know if it impacted, and I see both sides of this. I think a guy like Mitch Kupchak didn't do a whole lot of mid-season trades when he was with the Lakers. Like, he never really made big splashes in the middle of the season. I'm sure Kobe probably pushed him to make some of those decisions, but you never heard about them making these big decisions at the trade deadline. But I think that LaMelo Ball going down really hurt them, because you go from having a surplus of guards and not enough people on the inside to we don't want to stretch ourselves too thin, like you were saying. You go out and get a guy that you're really high on, Miles Turner, Indiana. They're probably looking for some improved guard play. That's Devontae Graham and Malik Monk that were both pieces that could have gone, probably packaged with PJ Washington. Well, I don't know at this moment that's what you want to give up just to get one big ball swatter that's down there on the inside. So I think it played a pretty big role, and hopefully he can come back. Hey, reset. Get ready for next season. Let's go get some good more draftees and keep building this team up. David Brown over in the chat. Fourth in the East at this time of year is absolutely crazy. Yeah, Mackey is freaking losing his mind. He was gone this past weekend and losing his mind that he's back. They have a huge game coming up tomorrow night against the Miami Heat.
Yes.
And I don't know.
And the Heat are one of the three teams tied for fifth place in the East. Yeah. So like you said, a huge game. Huge game. A half game splits three teams in fifth place from the Hornets in fourth place. That's why it's crazy. I don't care what Nick says. I don't care that he's downplaying this. We're fourth place in the East on March 25th, and we're playing the team that's directly behind us tomorrow. We are in a pivotal point of the season for the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, and I could be wrong, but I feel like I saw somewhere that Jimmy Butler was being sat out either today or last night. He was sat out, so don't know if there's an injury there. Maybe it's just rest. Maybe it's qualitative rest, getting him ready for that big game tomorrow. But that could also be something to keep an eye on, this Hornets team. So with LaMelo being out, Gordon Hayward not playing, in my opinion, as good as he was at the beginning of the year, how good can the Hornets be down the stretch? We started off one of the earlier episodes of All Access talking about the Hornets barely sneaking in, we were confident that they would be in with the 8 or the 9 seed. Now they're sitting at 4th alone, coming off a West Coast road trip where they go 2-3 back east now to take on some of this lesser competition. How good can the Hornets finish this year? Is a top 4 or a top 5 spot realistically a possibility?
I think it is, and the reason I'm looking at my phone is because I'm trying to find a very specific stat that I found last night regarding the Charlotte Hornets and how they are playing in clutch time. I really need
Yeah.
to find it.
And
Here it is, and I want to read it.
Go ahead.
Because we ask this question week by week, how good can this Hornets team be? This Hornets team can be very good. And the reason I'm saying that, LaMelo Ball is a big piece that's taken away now with the injury. But the reason I'm saying that is because you are seeing clear coaching improvements for this franchise, for this organization. And you are seeing how the coaching is impacting the play on the court, whether that comes to how they are in clutch time, which they are one of the top three. They're like first in every single category but one where they're third at. That comes to free throws at the end of the game. That comes to a lot of things. But last night, Elias Sports Bureau tweeted this out. The Hornets have won 7 games this season in which they trailed in the final 5 minutes of the fourth period or overtime. More impressively, Charlotte is the only NBA team that has not lost a game this season in which it led during that time span. So they are 21-0 in every game they led in the final 5 minutes of the fourth period or overtime, and they have won 7 games this season in which they trailed in the final 5 minutes of overtime.
Yeah,
or of the game or overtime.
And another point is just, I believe they are the only undefeated team when leading going into the fourth quarter. So they're also sustaining that. Like they're putting it together.
Can we ask that question? Why? I mean, we all know why. We all know it's the coaching improvements by James Borrego. We all know that it's freaking scary Terry turning in the prime Michael Jordan when the ball is in his hands with 5 minutes left in the game. I believe I saw he's shooting like 50, 90 splits when it comes to clutch time. And clutch time is pretty much like if you're is it like when the game is within 5 points with 5 minutes or less? That's pretty much defined as clutch time. Yeah. And so Terry is shooting over 50% from the field, 50% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line during that span. We have a player that is literally balling like mainly this season when it comes time for him to ball. I remember there was one game against the Kings where the Hornets scored like 12, or what was it? Like where they had that insane comeback with like 60 seconds. They scored like 12 points in a minute, 8 seconds or whatever. And I remember he had 2 points the whole game, Bradley. The whole game. He had 2 points. He was shooting like 1 for 7. And then he hit a 3 at the end of it, and he got fouled and hit a free throw, and he ended the game with 6 points. But that 4-point play brought the Hornets within 1, and then like PJ Washington came in and got a play to put the Hornets in the lead. But that just goes to show. Same thing with Gordon Hayward. I think Gordon Hayward coming to this team was big too, because I think you're seeing leadership play in. I mean, it's kind of funny because you're like when you think of Gordon Hayward, you know he's a veteran, you know he has the All-Star experience, you know he had a great season in 2017, and you know he has the capability of being a leader. And in that blog post that I talked about a few weeks ago, that's what he said. He said he wanted to come to this franchise and be a leader. He knew that's how he was going to be looked upon. And I think having a veteran, established player like Gordon Hayward on the team, with, unfortunately, the now injured LaMelo Ball, who you can tell by the way they interact with each other, like on their Instagram lives after the game. LaMelo Ball is just a class clown of the team. That's what everybody describes him as. So you have like a young leader LaMelo who's playing around. You have like a more what is it called? Structured leader in terms of it looks like Gordon Hayward just wants to come in, win a game, and
handle business, man. Come in, bring the briefcase. Let's go.
Exactly, and go back to his family. But if it wins us games, bro, give me LaMelo being the hype man of the team. Give me Gordon Hayward being the veteran that's bringing the leadership. And then everywhere in between, give me Malik Monk's 20-point games for no reason. Give me Devontae Graham going 7 of 9 from 3 in the first half. Give me P.J. Washington for dropping 27 and 10 points. Give me Bismack for somehow getting some kind of game-saving block. And give me Cody Zeller just because it's Cody freaking Zeller. I'll take that team all day, every day. Until we get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, until they get to the conference finals. Then you got to handle some more business. But yeah, I think one of the most undervalued things about this team is their camaraderie and the brotherhood that they've developed together. It started last year, heading into the unfortunate circumstances of COVID and the bubble and the Hornets being left out of that. You could really see them coming together. Then they had to spend an extra amount of offseason kind of just stressing out at, we're not here. Maybe that gave them some extra time to get to know one another. But you see it, man. Like, there's no big-headed players on this team. You don't have, and I'm going to call out some players here. I don't intentionally mean to, but like you feel like people are divas, like a Kyrie Irving or a Russell Westbrook. They have those diva-ish moments where it's like, hey, it's all about me. It's all about me. It's all about me. Rightfully so. Those guys are some ballers. I don't think the Hornets have that problem right now. Like, you just have a bunch of guys that are being dudes out there just having fun, like you're going to the YMCA or the church league and just having fun and putting on a show and just kind of playing some backyard basketball and absolutely crushing it while doing so.
Yes, and David Brown in the chat, he said it right. They are still a playoff team. I'm going to quote him. They're still a playoff team. I don't know about the 4 seed, but we have a dangerous small ball lineup.
Yes.
We do have a dangerous small ball lineup, but that can also be dangerous to us.
Yeah.
Because the playoffs, we all know in any sport, is a whole different breed, especially when it comes to playoff basketball. Not having depth down low, something as simple as rebounding will bite you in the butt. I don't think the small ball lineup, I think that might be one of the main factors that prevents the Hornets from going on some kind of run. But James Borrego put it out there before the season. He said this is the small ball lineup. So that's why I'm expecting the Hornets next season to kind of go bigger, be a little more of a gambling type when it comes to searching for a big man next season. But all in all, I think the Hornets are in good shape. I hate that LaMelo is out, but this team still has enough talent in the East this year to make the playoffs. Even without LaMelo Ball, I've said it, I expect them. They better make the play-in game or whatever that is. But I expect them to be in the playoffs when it comes to the NBA postseason in 2021.
Yeah, I don't go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead and say your thing.
I was going to say, I was just going to piggyback off that point. I don't think it can be understated enough. The fact that they're in the East means that they still have an excellent chance of making the playoffs without one of your top players. In the West, different story. Being in the East, oh man, you could probably roll a 7-man squad out there and win a couple of these games. You'd be tired, but you could probably still do it. So I think that's a huge advantage that people need to take into consideration.
Now, before we transfer over or go over to the Panthers, I want to address something that you said earlier. Because I for some reason I believe I had the same opinion about it, but like my roommate's a huge Kyrie fan. And we were talking about it, and then like I kind of started watching, or like just like going into what Kyrie is doing, just kind of going at it from a different angle, and just trying to be more open-minded about it. And I'm very happy that you're hesitant to use the word diva. I will say, huge Russell Westbrook fan. If you follow me on Twitter, I love Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook is so fun to watch, but then he's so horrible to watch at the same time. And as a Cam Newton fan, like I'm used to that, so I love it. I like Russell Westbrook. I believe is the NBA equivalent of Cam Newton. And in terms of play style, electricity, and all that stuff. And I kind of agree with you. He does have diva moments. With Kyrie, though, I think, and this is what I'm going to say about it. I think Kyrie is one of the only athletes that treats basketball or the sport he plays exactly that, just as his job. You know what I'm saying? And I think and I've had talks about this with people because I think Kyrie's I think he's a very unique person. I like the worldview. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you don't. You just kind of you just threw something out there to where I'm like, let's talk about it. I think this is a cool subject to talk about. I like the way he speaks. I like the beliefs he has. I like what he does for everybody around him, both in the community, on the team. And I do believe that sports media and the NBA has painted him as a villain in terms of how he is in the locker room. And I know he had his few things with LeBron and he doesn't want to play with LeBron, but every time you see LeBron and Kyrie get together, they're utmost respect for each other. Yeah. Whenever you see Kyrie go back to his former team of the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum attributes so much of his clutch genes to Kyrie Irving. Although Kyrie Irving was injured for a good bit of his Boston stint, Jason Tatum told people that Kyrie Irving is one of the reasons that he has been playing at another level. And so I will say this as someone who used to be one of the guys who considered Kyrie one of the divas of the NBA. But upon further review, I think he just treats his job as a job.
Flag. Yeah,
exactly. And just with athletes, and we're seeing that more and more come out. Athletes are speaking out about stuff of within their life, within the league. They don't feel like they have to be under the umbrella of the NFL or NBA. But I mean, like, if Kyrie wants a personal day, he's gonna take a personal day. If I'm a fan of Kyrie or a fan of the team, do I want that to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, like, of course not. But then also, you got to think, like, like, he took a day off for his birthday, like personal leave, and people were giving him crap. His birthday's like March 23rd, and I'm just like, and I try to think of it, like, of course they're getting paid millions, of course they're playing the sport, but like, would you want to take off work on your birthday?
Yeah, absolutely. And I, like I said, I thank you for acknowledging
And
that
I know
I
you
was
didn't use
hesitant.
that with like a ruling fist. You're not saying
yeah,
he's an absolute
no,
diva.
I think Kyrie Irving also, by the way, has some of the best handles in the entire league. I think he is an incredible
Right now.
basketball player. One of my favorite highlights is him when he was on Team USA. It was like a practice facility. I mean, they were just out there just kind of hooping, running around. And he's just zigzagging in and out behind the back, between the legs, through the shirt. Like, it was insane. But yeah, and what I was trying to get at is, and agreed, I think people do need to open up their mind to some of these things because it is a job. JJ Watt is someone that I think is one of the greatest athletes in the NFL.
Yes.
And he also treats it like a job. He's, for better or worse, if you agree with it, you do. If you don't, you don't. But for a while, he was like, hey, I don't want to, like, why isn't JJ Watt married? Why is it, before he was with his current fiance, I want to say, soccer star. But before he was with her, he was saying, hey, I don't want a girlfriend, don't want a fiance, don't want to be in a relationship. My job is taking too much of my attention. And some people were like, oh, well, that's kind of snotty to do. Like, take some time to yourself. And I think it's essential. So props to Kyrie, to sidebar off of that. Props to Kyrie for taking a day off to just kind of look after himself, man.
And like I said, I know you weren't saying like he's an absolute diva, Russell Westbrook, as Nick said in the chat, Westbrook is dad. Nick and I lived together sophomore year, which was his the year he broke the triple-double record, and we watched so many OKC games because I mean, like, I'm a Hornets fan, but OKC was my second team for a while. I cheered for him. I loved how, when they first started making their playoff runs, everyone in the arena will just stand until the first point is scored. Like, just something like that. I always love fan camaraderie at some kind of a game or whatever. But we watched so many Westbrook games, so we became big fans. But I will. There are way more moments where I could see Westbrook being a diva compared to like other. So I'm not disagreeing with that as a Westbrook fan.
Also, one big thing you just mentioned is fans getting back into the arena. Charlotte just reopened a little bit. I think they went from 15 to only about 25, but still, that's 25% of people finally getting into the building to be able to see the Charlotte Hornets play. Hopefully, not only for the Hornets, but for the Panthers too, there can be some better culture as these teams look to improve over the next few years. So, Mackie, you ready to roll over and start talking about some Carolina Panthers football?
I'm ready to roll over and start talking about some Carolina Panthers.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about, because one of the biggest things that we did not get to talk about, I don't think we got to talk about really in depth, is some of these signings that they've had. They just signed a kicker who looks like a Greek god. I think some people on Twitter were saying. But
Matt Amendola.
This defense is starting to look pretty good. And people like ESPN, Fox Sports, they're kind of acknowledging it like, hey, whoa. Carolina's doing some things down here, man. They picked up some speed rushers, some linebackers. Like, they're doing some things. So let's hear it. What's going on with the defense?
Man, defense, we talked about it a little bit, but now that we have like kind of like a week to sit on it, week to see what's going on. I mean, I've said before, I love the way the defense was heading. I think Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, did an amazing job the second half of the season. And like I said, the only game I would really fault Phil Snow for in the second half of the season, off the top of my memory, of course, it's been a while, is that second Bucks game we played against them. That's when, that game was kind of blown open from the beginning, never really fought back. That first Bucks game, I said this before, I'll say it again. The Bucks were up 21-0 at halftime, and then horrible defensive performance by the Carolina Panthers. But then they shut them out for it to be 21-14, I believe, or 21-21. It was a tie game or a one-possession game.
Super
and then
close.
They do an onside kick. Yeah, then Leonard Fournette breaks away for like a 40-yard touchdown run to ice. But no, I've already enjoyed the way the defense is heading. I like the young guys. I think this team is built around stellar young players in Derek Brown, Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, who is still he's a great god for Panther fans right now. Because I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but as a Panther fan, I didn't hear Jeremy Chin on anybody's radar. And then when when the Panthers drafted him, looked at the highlights they posted, looked at the stats, and I'm like, all right, this dude's built like a linebacker. He's built like he can just ball out. And that's exactly what he did. So he shut people up like me, saying, who's Jeremy Chin? Oh, we all know who Jeremy Chin is now.
Better recognize.
And right now, I think the only real need the only real need could be possibly cornerback. I mean,
Yeah.
I like Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson makes big plays, but then he gives up big plays. Troy Pride Jr., I mean, same thing. A couple bad games, couple good games.
Mm-hmm.
I also think cornerback is one of the hardest positions to play in any sport. Like you're going against some of the most the most just built athletes on earth, and you just have it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. I know they have like supersonic speed and they have like athletic ability, but even if I had athletic, I couldn't imagine just trying to keep up with someone like Mike Evans or someone like Devontae Adams or like just think about some of the star play DeAndre Hopkins, and you're just trying to just hope that you guess where they're going correctly. Like, it's insane. So, I mean, the cornerback is still a little iffy there. I agree with you in terms of Jeremy Chin possibly moving back to the safety position with Trey Boston being released. But overall, and with the additions of Reddick, Perryman,
Morgan Fox is down in there, down on the inside now beside Derek
Morgan
Brown.
Fox, thank you, from the Rams, playing with Aaron Donald. Like, I mean, team-friendly deals, too. 1-2 year deals. Great deals. Perryman missed most of last season, but I mean, he was explosive. Dude, thank you, Jennison. I do have wall art. Sorry, I had to look in the chat. But yeah, like Perryman, he played very well for the Chargers. Like I said, with Reddick, he had a career high 12 and a half sacks last year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're putting them together. You're putting Reddick together with Brian Burns.
It's gonna be nasty.
I've said it. I got to stop saying I've said it. Brian Burns has been off limits for me.
Oh yeah. Do not touch.
That's my the wall art I have behind me, just a simple tapestry. It was originally behind my computer right here. I just moved it. Should have done it a long time ago. No, I didn't spend the stimulus on that tapestry, Jennison. I will spend the money from the stimulus on a white Brian Burns jersey, though. That is my next purchase. That is my next. I haven't had a white Panthers jersey in a minute. And for some reason, when I Google white Brian Burns Panther jerseys, I cannot find any. I can't.
Really?
I can't.
All right, we're gonna have to get you one, bud.
Yeah, him and DJ Moore are the two locked in for. Those are the next two players I need to get.
Yeah.
But defensive wise, I've loved the acquisitions. I already loved where we were at, and it's gonna come down to quarterback play. But I mean, this team can also be
perfect timing in the chat says still no quarterback.
Still no quarterback. That is crazy how as soon as I said all that, he said still no quarterback right when I was like, it's all going to – because it doesn't matter how good your team is if you can't make plays.
Tell that to Elvis Gerbach back in the day with the Ravens because he led his team to a championship, and he was a terrible – that's the only example I have. That's the only one. Did Brad Johnson –
Peyton Manning did have a horrible year, but that stellar defense.
Didn't Kyle Orton make a Super Bowl with the Chicago Bears? Panthers
the
can
only
do that.
Orton I recognize is Randy. Kyle Orton, who is that?
Kyle Orton's been. Brad Johnson was there with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Listen, they can do it. And I just want to go back to you were talking about the cornerback position. Agreed. That is probably the most difficult position in almost any sport to play because you are forced to be reactive rather than proactive. Yes. In my opinion, I don't play the position, so I could be wrong. But you have to be reactive rather than proactive against, like you said, elite talent, elite speed. Like, can you imagine me trying to go up against a guy like Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins? I already look like a fool. It would be even worse now.
I would. We were talking about Into the Wild. What inspired this tapestry behind me?
Yeah.
If there was ever a video recording of me going against Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins or Devontae Adams, I am burning my social security cards. I am moving Into the Wild exactly as Alexander Supertramp did because they would make me look absolutely foolish. And that's even me with any athletic ability, not just me now. All I do now is go in the work, make cold calls, come home, eat Zaxby's, and watch Hulu. Anybody can burn me. A newborn cow can burn me on a football field. But if I even had athletic ability, that's why I always feel weird, kind of talking criticizing athletes. Oh, they don't do this, they don't do that. Who the am I? Who am I? I get on Twitter and stuff, and I see people ragging on athletes. Oh no! And I'm like, dude, who are you? You got to take a step back and realize just because you can say it doesn't mean It's just
did you ever watch the show? There was a show that was on TV. It was called like Pros versus Joes, I think was the name of it, or Pros versus Average Joes.
That Spike TV was my life.
Oh my gosh, dude, that show was so good. And it would put into perspective. They'd be like, "Hey, you have 3 minutes to score 1 bucket against Shaquille O'Neal." And the guy's like, "Oh, dude, that's nothing. Like, I got this." And then this man, like, his vertical's like, "Hey, I'm Shaq." This guy's vertical is like 2 inches off the ground out here trying to dribble, like getting the ball stuck on his shorts when he's dribbling between. Like they look so dumb. I will never criticize an athlete for their athletic ability. If you make a bad play, like a mental breakdown, I mean, I might be like, hey, like his mind wasn't right, wasn't a good decision. Let's revamp. But I'm never gonna say, dude, I could beat Kevin Durant with 1 Achilles. Kevin Durant could have schooled me in basketball. I don't care. So, yeah, 100% agreement, man. Average Joe versus a pro, not a chance, man.
No. And Shaq like, oh, what are you doing putting these people out here against me? I came out here for the check. I ain't gonna do this. No, I just listened to my favorite podcast is Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. And then I love Conan. He's my idol. Sorry if you hate Conan and you judge me, but I love Conan O'Brien. The most recent episode was with Shaquille O'Neal, and I think Shaquille O'Neal is one of the most fascinating humans on earth. Like if you ever just listen to him like outside of like a sports analyst role, just like in any interview on any podcast, like just the wisdom he speaks, the stories he tells, it's a very good listen. And I listened to it going to Charlotte, and so it's funny that we're talking about Shaq, but in Pros versus Joes, that's exact. Oh, what I was getting to, was Jennison in the stream. They said, they're like superhuman. They are superhuman. And I was going to say one thing I love about my mom is one day, like she's always been into like Panther football. She's always been into whatever like me and my brother and my dad were into. But like for the last 5 or 6 years, yeah, sorry, Nick, that was a horrible Shaq impression.
1.5.
But for the last 5 or 6 years, like she just throws on every Panther game and watches like second one to second last. I don't know how many seconds are in a Panther game, but
all 60 minutes.
I remember there was one time we were sitting there watching the Lions play on Thanksgiving, and someone got rocked. Like I'm talking about like going across the middle, slant, got dropped, and they just hopped right back up, and my mom was just like, how do they get up from that? Like, how does that not just kill them? And me and my brother just had to like kind of reassure, like, you need to understand that they're immortals. Like they are not us. They have lived their whole life to be able to get rocked by a 260-pound linebacker or defensive lineman and just get right back up and do it again the next play.
Dude, my knees pop getting up from the kitchen table after dinner. Like, there ain't no way I'm stepping onto a football field. And, they're built different for sure.
Different.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's not for me. Jennison says, have you seen the size of Romo's hands when he's commentating, or even Traitman? They're like bare hands. Dude, they have massive mitts. Like, even Kyler Murray, who's probably the smallest quarterback in the league, I'm going to assume, even he has hands that are bigger than mine. And I'm like, y'all are saying he has small hands? That dude, he can still wrap a football. So...
And so, like, and there was one time, and like one of the most superhuman athletes, surprise, is Cam Newton, bringing him into the mix. But I saw him one time. We were doing a tour of Bank of America for this group I was with, like for Keller Radio Talent Institute, and we were down there and we went through the locker room, and Cam was in there. I mean, like, like on TV, of course, they're big, but they're around other people the same size. Same thing with NBA players. Like, it's crazy that first NBA game you go to and like you get a chance to like before the game, and you just really see how huge these guys are. Like, I don't care what you think your perception of NBA players are. The smallest NBA player like Kyrie or Kemba is probably like at least 2 to 3 inches taller than you. But I went to, and Cam Newton stood up. And, dude, just, like, being in his presence, he is just massive. And then just putting that together with his athletic ability. And then you would see it, like, when he hands footballs to kids, it's one hand is, like, wrapped around the whole ball. Like, it's just, like, and they're just jacked. They are literal Greek gods, like you said earlier. It's insane, just some of the things that these – like, I know they have, like, world-class, like, diets and workout plans and stuff, but still.
No, but they do it at, like, a young age.
Yeah, and people also need to understand the toll this takes on their body. Like,
Oh,
Like
yeah.
we say it's a job. Like, yes, like Kyrie treats basketball like a job. As I think a bunch of other athletes should also treat this. I mean, of course it's a living. You're making a living, but there are some times where you got to remember that like you have signed a contract, but like this is also this is your job. Like, I'm sorry. Mental health. That's pretty much people need to take days off no matter what job you have if you need to take a day off. But with Cam Newton and like his ability and the players' abilities to just lift nonstop, do these insane workouts like running up these crazy sand dunes in the middle of like Australia or something. Like, it's just everything that they do. Like, so although their job is during a season, like their job is also their body. We talk about them like they are superhuman. That's why they can do their job. So their job is 24/7, 365. Like if they eat something, like they could put their like job in jeopardy. If they drink something, like I remember Peyton Manning after Super Bowl 50 said, "I'm gonna go home and drink me a Budweiser." Like, I mean, these athletes, they can't drink beer because their body literally can't handle it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just I don't understand why we kept, or it's mainly me. I've been focusing on the anatomy of the super athlete tonight, but I don't know. It's just crazy really thinking about how much just goes into just an athlete having the ability to do their job well, and then going out there and just being a dominant force on the field or court.
Yeah, and I think one of the cool things, we've mentioned social media earlier, I think looking at it now, like it's really cool to see some of these offensive linemen, defensive linemen, cornerbacks, wide receiver, all of them posting videos on TikTok, and they're like, how I feel on a Monday morning, and you see them, and it's like, God, you are covered in bruises. And then you remember, that's because he just got hit 250 times by a 260-pound man out there getting tackled to the ground. It's unbelievable. And also, shout out to Jordan Gross, who I am absolutely positive that the best offensive linemen are just skinny guys who can be athletic with big bellies. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Because Jordan Gross, it was like 2 months, and he like dropped 70 pounds. And he was like, I feel great. Like, I feel great.
One of my favorite things in life is watching an offensive lineman just spaz. Like, I'm talking about hauling ass down the field with their running back, getting a huge. Isn't that one of the craziest things whenever you, like, a running back is 30, 35 yards downfield and a freaking offensive lineman is just right on their ass and they just lay someone out? Like one of the most violent places on earth are at the trenches during the 60 minutes of football. Yeah. Like, of NFL football, every play, you just hear the grunts of these beasts just trying to outpower each other. Their number one job as an offensive lineman is to push a 300-pound defensive lineman who their number one job is to not be pushed. Yeah. So, like, it's crazy watching this, like, and just watching, like, the different shapes of athletes. Like, what Jennison said, Michael Phelps, a swimmer, had to eat 12,000 calories a day. Basketball is more like lengthy, more slim. But football, you have all football, everyone needs to be strong and big. Like, there's not one small person in football. But then you have defensive linemen like Vince Wilfork back in the day for the Texans and the Patriots. Then you have defensive linemen like Aaron Donald, who are literally just the most chiseled human beings you'll ever see, that need 300-pound offensive linemen to keep them contained. Like, it's just crazy how just the different things that these different types of athletes can do.
There was a video that came out recently, and I don't want to say it was Morgan Fox. I really can't remember who it was. It was another defensive lineman, a young defensive lineman that was playing with the Rams. And it was a video, and this guy had just hit his PR. He was pumped. He hit the barbell, bench press, new PR, got up, pumped. Yeah. Next up, Aaron Donald sat down, repped out 35 quick ones. It's like, you are at a whole nother level of insane. Nick in the chat says Luke slimmed down a good bit this year. Yeah, dude, if you saw him at the Hall of Fame, at the retirement process with Greg Olsen and Thomas Davis, he was looking real thin. Coach.
Bench pressing before Aaron Donald has to be performing at a talent show before Rihanna. Like, that's literally like that's literally what that is. It's like, you did such a good job. Let's go. And then, like, Aaron Donald just walks up, and it just boom, 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 boom. And
it's so unfair.
You feel so good about yourself, and you're really just watching, just like, that's exactly how it is.
Did he just do that?
Did he just do that? Why did you like? I would look over at my coach back. Why did you have me go before him?
Can I go back down an age bracket? Like, what is
That's
happening?
What I'm saying. Start big. Start with him, like, so that way we just know. Hey, like, We like
don't even try. If you can't do this, it's not for you.
No, yeah, it's football fascinates me in so many ways. By the play, by the freaking name of the plays. Like, do you ever just hear like in these like what they call it, mic'd ups and stuff, to where people are just talking, and then it's just like a paragraph of hieroglyphics and like football noises and stuff, and they're just like X clown, Y down. I'm really showing off my my ignorance for names of football plays. I played football 2 years, 7th grade and 8th grade. Didn't win a game either year, so I realized I was a problem with football. I'm going to talk about football and not pretend to know that I'm good at football. But no, like just the shapes and sizes of the athletes, the names of the plays, the way they can get hit and just get right back up, the ability of some quarterbacks to just flick it down 70 yards and place it somebody who's running 19 miles per hour right there in their chest over the shoulder. Like it's beautiful to watch. It truly is.
Yeah. David Brown went ahead and let you know it's Spider Y Banana is what you were probably looking for.
Spider Y Banana. Thank you.
I feel like that's John Gruden's go-to call whenever he's on the RV. Spider Y Banana.
Hey, the only play I need to know is PA Scissors, because it beat Nick's butt freshman year in Madden every single game.
Yeah.
Just roll out with Cam Newton play action. If Greg Olsen is open, throw it to Greg Olsen. If he's not open, run it with Cam Newton. Nick couldn't see me when it came to Madden 16. But I know I kind of got us off on an anatomy rant of athletes. And before I go, because I'm going to go throw on Hurricanes in a little bit, I do want to talk about this draft coming up soon.
Sure.
A lot of people are thinking that the Panthers are going to make a move in the draft. The Panthers are going to either pick 8 or, as I've been hoping for a couple of weeks and months, and that now is starting to come to fruition a little bit, or people can see them trading up to number 2. With the New York Jets.
Could happen.
I tweeted something today, and it was relatively
What's the Twitter handle?
Tweet, but I was curious. I said, like, it was Micah Parsons, the linebacker for Penn State that we've been talking about, running a 40 and 4.39 seconds. He's hauling,
booking it.
It was insane to watch. And I tweeted out, I quote tweeted, and I said, Panther fans, how mad would you be if the Panthers didn't get a quarterback and drafted Micah Parsons at 8? I was like, I'm genuinely curious. I say it's a stupid tweet because I forgot that, the Perryman and Reddick signings. With those 2 signings, probably not drafting a linebacker in at pick number 8. I do know I've been on the Micah Parsons bandwagon since I watched some highlights from him. I also do know that linebacker isn't a need for the Panthers. I was just genuinely curious. A lot of people said very mad. Some people said if the Perryman and Reddick signings didn't happen, I wouldn't be too mad about it. But it seems like that Panther Nation, including ourselves, are all down for the quarterback game.
Yep.
Pick number 8, Lawrence, Fields, Zach Wilson are probably gone. If the Panthers move up to pick number 2, they trade up with the Jets. I don't know what that will take from the Carolina Panthers. Let's assume that Trevor Lawrence is pick number 1. Yeah. If he's not pick number 1, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be some draft day like that movie with Kevin Costner. It's gonna be a crazy day.
Wild.
Panthers sit at number 2. Trevor Lawrence off the board. What quarterback are you taking?
Me personally?
Yeah. Let me ask you this one. Are you assuming that the 2 choices are Justin Fields and Zach Wilson?
I believe the second quarterback that will be taken will be one of those 2 guys in Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. The third,
if the Panthers are the team to take that second quarterback off the board, who do you want to see the Panthers take?
Who do I want to see?
Yes. They move up to number 2. They are taking the second quarterback off the board. Who do you want to take?
I've seen greatness out of both of them. I have presented many strong cases for Zach Wilson because I think he would be there for the Panthers. He could be there at Panthers for 8, but at 2, I might have to lean Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is going to be that guy because he has been a winner.
Excuse me again. I am not disagreeing with that. I'll be very happy if the Panthers get Justin Fields.
I'll be happy with either. I would be happy with either.
I'll be happy with either. Personally, though, at pick number 2, I've seen I've seen things from Zach Wilson that I really like. I really do.
He has a lot of Russell Wilson to his game, and what I mean by that is he's bouncy feet. He bounces in the pocket. Kyler too, both of those guys.
Yeah.
He's just bouncy playmaker, kind of. And, not to just put all of them together, but Patrick Mahomes, all of these guys have a background in baseball where they can just make any throw. That shortstop, they can throw his sidearm over the top, twist their body on the run, across the field.
Does Wilson have a baseball background?
He certainly looks like he has one because he's able to make any kind of throw. I don't know if he can, but those other three guys
I don't know if he does either.
Yeah, the other three guys have a baseball background, and they kind of fit in that same boat. Like Justin Fields, tremendous athlete, is mobile. He can do all that. But there's something about that baseball style quarterback that I really, really like. So I would not be mad with Zach Wilson coming to the Carolina Panthers.
Big fan of Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson. No, Justin Fields too. I enjoyed last season and watching him carve up Clemson a little bit. It was fun. Nice. Nice little revenge game. Like I said, I will not. Whoever it is, I have faith in both of them. I think they will bring I won't say greatness, but I think they can bring skills that can with the Panthers team right now and how they're building it. They can just plug them in, and they can get quarterbacks that can get the ball into the playmakers' hands. They can make plays while in the pocket, and that's pretty much what the Panthers need right now. Yeah. Personally, like I said, I like Wilson. That's probably going to be my first choice. I just like the things I see. I don't have any stat comparisons for you. For some reason, just the way he throws the ball downfield, kind of Russell Wilson-esque in terms of just being able to place it right into his receiver's hands on crazy throws, like rolling out the pocket. I don't know why my nose is itching today. Like rolling out the pocket and just placing it right into their chest, just right over the shoulder. But either way, as long as we both agree that if it's Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, I'll be happy with that. Now, let's pretend that we don't trade up to 2. We stay at 8.
I will say, I think the number 2 trade is a I'm probably more adamant. I think the number 2 trade is I am all for that, and I think it's likely to happen because I really think the Jets are going to stick it out with Sam Darnold, pull back, and hope for the Micah Parsons to fall to them, or grab a wide receiver down there to get them an actual playmaker to be the Sam Darnold. So I really think that's and hope that kind of happens.
I like Sam Darnold. I'm not saying he's done anything stellar, but also he's been in a very, very crappy situation though. And now he has Corey Davis, who I really enjoy.
Fantastic pickup.
They have Jamison Crowder, who is on the up and up, and they just signed somebody else, possibly Deshaun Jackson. On like a 1-year deal?
I feel like Deshaun Jackson went to the Rams.
He did go to the Rams.
Maybe.
He did. But I knew it was a team with 4 letters.
There's been a lot of players that have come out and said that they want to play for the new coach that's over there from San Francisco.
Robert Saleh.
Yeah, Saleh.
For the Jets. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. And I think Sam Darnold has skills, but also like the Jets have been awful with Adam Gase. And Sam Darnold, I think I think the way I preach that other quarterbacks getting a second chance, I think Sam Darnold should have at least a year. Or I'm not going to say I think. I won't be mad if Sam Darnold has a year with this team, with this new coach.
But you won't give Teddy another chance?
Do what?
But you won't give Teddy another chance?
I have seen what Teddy can do with the offense that he's given.
I'm just trying to poke the bear, man. Just trying to poke the bear.
You poked him.
All right, so you were trying to get.
But also Teddy doesn't, but Sam Darnold getting another chance on the Jets doesn't impact me as a Panther fan. So
that's true. That's true.
Over there.
You know what? Take all the chances you want, New York. I don't care what you do.
Take the chances you want. I think that Sam Darnold should get as many chances as he wants to. But Teddy Bridgewater, second year. What do you think? Second year on his 3-year deal? Hell no! Get him out. I'm not two-faced at all.
All right, but I think you were saying if the Panthers stay at 8, you were going to be rolling over to that.
Yeah, sorry. If the Panthers stay at 8, what should they do?
Yeah.
They're probably still going to go quarterback. And I've said this. I'm not the biggest fan of going after a quarterback who's not like up on the list of their position. I know the quarterback is probably the biggest need for the Panthers right now. But also, I want to see the Panthers draft someone who's the best at their position, which is why I've kind of been talking about Micah Parsons. Of course, that's not going to happen now. The offseason signings, what the Panthers are as a franchise, you don't need Micah Parsons at this time. Whatever team gets him, I believe is it's going to be great, immediate upgrade.
Yep.
I know that the two prospects that are kind of being talked about, especially probably the only two quarterbacks who are left at number 8, the Panthers stick with it. Trey Lance, Mac Jones. Um, Mac Jones, obviously national champion. Trey Lance obviously had a good season his junior year, then only played 1 year. He only had he had 40 something touchdowns and 3 interceptions, I believe, his junior year. But then last year played 1 game, then opted out for COVID. But that 1 game he had 2 picks.
Yeah, it was not a great one game sample.
And then he had a good pro day, which you're throwing uncontested to uncontested receivers. You know what I mean? You're just kind of seeing the bare mechanics. So of course you want to have a good pro day. It's a very big part of an athlete's journey, but also just as somebody spectating, it's just how much does that influence what they're going to do on the field, based on the judgments that the recruiters and coaches are playing. But I don't know. I think if they stick with 8, we're gonna see either Mac Jones or Trey Lance if the other 3 quarterbacks are off the board. And do you have a preference in those 2?
And this is my decision is based more not on who Mac Jones is, but who Alabama is. So there is some not hatred towards Alabama. I'm not against that. It's the quarterbacks that they've produced and put into the league thus far. A.J. McCarron, Greg McElroy, Tua.
Yes.
The best one is Jalen Hurts, and you decided that he was going to be replaced by Tua his senior season. I think if that's what you do, because you've had the same head coach, you've kind of had the same offense this entire time, and people labeled the game manager tag on all those, why does Mac Jones not get that same label? I would rather take a risk. Don't give me another check down process quarterback. Give me someone who's going to take some chances, be an athlete, because that's definitely what today's game calls for, is that kind of an improved, unless you're Tom Brady, an improved athlete at the quarterback position is what it calls for. So I would prefer to see them go Trey Lance. Even though I don't love him, I would prefer that.
I don't really, and I'm saying this because I haven't really watched much of the 2. So I don't really have a definite favorite. I've seen some highlight reels I pulled up on YouTube. Of course I've seen Mac Jones freaking win the national championship, and that has to give you some respect, no matter who you are. I don't care how you feel about Alabama. I don't care what you feel about college skills transferring over to the pros. If you win a national championship in the NCAA football, you got to earn some respect there. Trey Lance, I think, has a better arm. Mac Jones, of course, he's won. I don't really I'm kind of with you. I just don't really see either anything in the 2 that really sets another up from the part. It's kind of like a throw up there. And with the number 8 pick, and with this draft, the Panthers are in a very, very crucial point for their organization in the future. New coaching staff, new players. David Tepper has made it clear he wants to win, and that has not happened. This draft can mean a lot for the Panthers. And no matter who I want them to get, all I care about is that they get it right.
Yeah.
Please get it. If they select somebody who I'm not the biggest fan of, I really hope it's a cold ass take, and I am proven wrong, because I'm ready to win, Bradley. I'm ready to win.
I 100% agree.
And this draft is coming up, and we all have our preferences. We all have the reactions we're gonna make, whether they pick our guy or not. I care who they pick, but whoever they do pick, please know something we don't and get it right.
Yeah, and
that's the final thing I'm saying about draft for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, in my opinion, even though they went all defense, and I wasn't a fan of it going in the immediacy of it, I think they made the right decision in a lot of areas with that. So I trust the process. I trust this head coaching, or I trust the coaching staff. I trust the front office. I think Scott Fitterer did a great job in Seattle. He brought in a lot of really, really good talent. He was there for sustained success year after year after year, filling holes that were left or vacated by other people. So I do trust that they're going to do what's best for the team. So I'm excited. I don't really get into the mock drafts. I don't say this is the guy that I want. I'm not going to lock myself into that mindset, because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. I'm making one choice at spot number 8, and there's a million different options that could happen. Heck, spot 7 might not pick like the Vikings did a few years ago when the Panthers got to in the NFL draft. The Vikings forgot to turn in their envelope or whatever, so the Panthers got to pick 30 seconds early. Like crazy things could happen. You never know what's
Yes.
going to happen. Free agency is still there. Trades are still happening. So
Hey, one ship just like ruined the whole supply line of the world. Did you see that ship getting stuck in the canal, like
Bro.
in Egypt?
oh
So if one single ship can get stuck in mud and ruin billions and billions of dollars of just like supply chain and products being moved across, a team can forget to pick. A team can make a mistake on a pick. Like we said before the show, so much shit has gone wrong. It can happen.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
dude.
So I'm with you on that one. Maybe the canal being blocked by a big ocean liner stuck in mud isn't the best example of showing that things can go wrong during an NFL draft, but I used it, so get over it. I will say this. I agree with you. I think all the moves have been very, very, very good by Scott Fitterer. I like the moves made by Matt Rule and Joe Brady coming into the coaching staff. Other than the Teddy Bridgewater one, it kind of sucks. They're like that's our guy, but throughout that, and I mean, like I've been outspoken about Teddy's play, and I feel bad sometimes because like he just has a whole fan base kind of just shitting on him, like it's. And I'm contributing to it, but also, like I said, I want to win.
Remember, Mackie,
I'm being selfish.
We said it in the show. Don't be mean to athletes because they're a better athlete than you.
That's facts. That's kind of the theme. Like, it's not the biggest fan of people just coming out and ragging on people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I trust the Panthers.
Absolutely.
Does that make me? Is that something I should say with my chest the way I did? Maybe not.
Pump it out there,
Maybe
boy.
not. But until they prove otherwise this year, the next, or the one after that, I trust the Panthers. They have my trust.
Yeah, I trust what they're doing, and I look forward to seeing this, and we're going to continue to talk about it on the All Access podcast as we get closer and closer, and things start to happen, things start to change. And maybe there are some more signings coming up. You never know. But we are definitely going to be talking about it, as we talked about a lot of things. We talked about Easter candy today. We talked about pros versus Joes. We talked about ships in the canal. And we even got a Shaquille O'Neal impersonation at one point during the show. So if you missed any point of this,
sorry about that.
Make sure you watch the full recap on YouTube, youtube.com/allaccessports, All Access Sports. Find the podcast on anywhere that you get your podcast and listen to it there. But we'll see you Thursday, Sunday, 8 p.m. every single week. We're here talking sports. Mackie, you got a parting wish, man? Do you want to say anything? Do we need any words of wisdom?
Hey, words of wisdom. Have a great weekend, everybody. Live life. Smile. Enjoy the sun if there's sun. If there's rain, go stand in the rain for a little bit. Let your sorrows out. Dude, what did Jimmy V say? You got to laugh. What is it? Laugh, something, and cry and everything, right? Like, you got to do 3 things every day. Laugh, smile, and cry. I don't know. Someone correct me in the chat. But do those 3 things this weekend.
But someone just hopped in from Rio de Janeiro. So that's awesome. Shout out to them. Thank you so much for hopping in the stream, guys. Like he said, go enjoy life. Enjoy the moment. Be a part of it. Go get refreshed out in the wilderness like Mackie just did. Do what you need to do. We will catch you on Sunday night, 8 o'clock right here, youtube.com/allaccess.